Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about Survivor Season 50, Episode 8, titled Double the Fun, Double the Demise. Last week on Survivor, the Merge tribe merged again, and after a record-breaking 14-person tribal, when Jeff read the votes, it was D everywhere. Before I dive in, links below to my playlist to catch up on my previous recaps, and to try Paramount Plus for free. If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing to get more same-day Survivor recaps. But let's dive into it. Following the vote, Jonathan is feeling smug, having successfully voted out D. Tiffany is annoyed that she's yet again getting pushed around in the game and's got 4 votes against her, but she's again choosing to be the better person and avoid giving the group reasons to vote her out. Coach feels he had a sweet serving of D on a delicious platter. He boasts to Jonathan about it and is being cocky. Jonathan worries that Coach is just being his old self and barreling toward a demise, but Coach has assured Jonathan that he will change. Oldest trick in the book. Am I right, ladies? The next day, Chrissy, Jonathan, and Steph meet and agree that they have a 7-person alliance with they, Coach, Joe, Ozzy, and Sari. Interesting to see how these players are feeling. They're very concerned about Christian and his little friends. Ozzy approaches Tiffany, telling her that he was pressured by Coach to vote for her. This makes Tiffany feel better about Ozzy and gives her hope that she could have a friend. Ozzy reminds us that he, Sari, and Rizzo, the Wizard of Oz, have been playing both sides. He's staying on Coach's good side, but plans to lop off Coach's head when he least expects it. A boat arrives to ruin their day. It's never something good. The clue says they need to split into pairs, with one person sitting out. They draw rocks, and Sari is picked to sit out. The other players divide into their pairs. Christian feels a brochacho revival when Jonathan says fee fi fo fum, join me little one. Teams are Jonathan and Christian, Coach and Chrissy, Joe and Tiffany, Rizzo and Emily, Ozzy and Stephanie, and Devins and Aubrey. Ozzy suggests to Jonathan and Joe that they target Devins for fear that Devins will find rehidden idols. Chrissy asks her partner Coach to chill, and he talks to Tiffany to smooth things over. Coach explains to Tiffany that people were targeting her from the beginning, and he wasn't the one pushing her name. She asks him who was pushing my name, and he goes nonverbal. So this doesn't help. She still feels he's lying to her. Waste of their time. They head to their challenge where Jeff reminds them that 63% of us voted for twists. Love when they blame me for their decisions. He says it's double duos because it's double the stakes, double the decisions, and double the consequences. This week, they'll compete in pairs, vote as individuals, but 4 pairs because 1 pair will be leaving the game tonight together. Rizzo calls this the biggest twist of all time. I call it Big Brother 9. Then the survivors all got in the pool and made out. Since she's not competing, Sari will miss all of this. She'll be safe this round and sent to Exile Island. Jeff takes back that idol because sorry Ozzy, that thing's back up for grabs. Players will shoot their ball into a track, race through obstacles to catch it, pass their ball to each other on paddles, and build a bridge to cross it. The first 3 pairs to finish this move on to the next round, where they'll navigate their balls out of a cage and through a table maze. The first duo to land 2 balls wins immunity and reward of spaghetti, wine, juice, and tiramisu, which Steph is jazzing over. So they get started with round 1. These players are fighting with urgency, with Joe and Tiffany pulling ahead at the bridge, and Coach holding he and Chrissy back at the first obstacle for a while. Eventually, everyone's working on their bridge, with Tiffany and Joe finishing first, followed by Ozzy and Stephanie, and Aubrey and Devins, which eliminates Rizzo and Emily, Chrissy and Coach, and Christian and Jonathan, leaving them at risk for elimination. They move on to the next round, where Devins and Aubrey get their ball and head to the table maze first, followed by Ozzy and Steph, and Tiff and Joe. In the end, Joe and Tiffany finish this first and win immunity, Tiffany's first individual immunity, and she needed it, for morale at least. Jeff explains that if a player saves themselves with an advantage at tribal, it'll save their pair. Coach says it's either going to be double the fun tonight or double the demise, and ooh, Coach said the thing. Sari heads to Exile. A lot of coconuts had to die to make this happen. There's a Kim Petras song about this situation. Sari is told that there are 2,000 coconuts on the beach. If she can find the coconut with a phoenix logo on it in time, she'll get to go back to camp and cast a vote at tribal. If she can't find it, she'll spend the night alone on Exile. So Sari begins her breath first search in the hot sun. Sari is suffering. She breaks down, but she's motivated thinking of the balance beam and the confidence she's gained. She can't give up. She finally finds the coconut, and in this moment, hundreds of Survivor 51 fantasy pool tribe names named Sari's coconut were born. Back at camp, players strategize. Christian is happy to be paired with Jonathan, feeling they won't get votes from either of their alliances. Emily proposes a vote against Coach and Chrissy, but Rizzo proposes to Ozzy that they take out Devins and Aubrey to cut some players out of the middle. Aubrey is again telling us she's gonna start playing hard. Her plan is to get Tiffany and Joe's vote to keep her, but Tiffany and Joe are elsewhere, slurping down spaghetti and pledging allegiance to each other. Joe wants to vote out Devins and Aubrey, and Tiffany is down. She wants to keep Coach around because he's hated and sucks at challenges, and says Chrissy is a control freak. Controlling Chrissy says, Coach, you better lay low. She quarantines him in the hammock, deeming herself the Dragon Slayer whisperer. Chrissy approaches Aubrey and Devins with a plan to work together to vote Rizzo out with the idol in his pocket. At Manolevu, whoa mama, they got the upside down camera work. Coach continues his day of silence. He whispers a haiku to the camera and is fantasizing about Coach Chi. His silence is interrupted by Suri coming back to camp with her magic coconut. Ozzy fills Suri in. Suri's opinion is they clearly need to take out Coach and Chrissy. Ozzy's down. He finally has a chance to get payback on Coach, not just for their history, but for stealing his key in the fight for supplies earlier this season. And when Suri finds out that Chrissy is targeting her baby Rizzo Fields, Chrissy especially has to go. Suri and Rizzo feel they need Joe's approval for this plan, but Joe doesn't want Chrissy and Coach to go and is fighting to swing the plan back to Aubrey and his season rival Devins. Devins is considering using the fake idol at Tribal, but wants to save it for a perfect time. Coach sings a new jingle, I am the Dragon Slayer, don't cross me if you dare. They head to Tribal, where Dee eats them up with her look. They unpack the twist that Aubrey calls their umbilical cord. Coach speaks of his vow of silence, saying he was able to observe the other's behavior from his solitude in the hammock. Devins is getting nervous, finally taking the moment to grab his fake idol hidden at the Tribal fire. Steph whispers to Ozzy, which sets off a live Tribal. The players don't seem to be buying that the idol is real. Jonathan continues to be adamant that he's voting for Devins. Steph wants Rick to show them the idol. He refuses. Coach hits them with the Magellan quote from the premiere, encouraging the group to take a risk. Players vote, and when asked for advantages, Rick claims that he can't play the idol until next week, and Coach plays his shot in the dark. But his shot in the dark doesn't hit. They're not safe, and Coach has no vote. In the end, there's one vote in that thing for Rizzo and Emily. From Chrissy, one vote for Aubrey and Rick. From Jonathan, and the rest of the votes from everyone else who had a vote go to Chrissy and Coach. So we say goodbye to these two players, starting with Chrissy, who was one of the under-edited players on the season, but she only went to 3 tribals in 8 episodes. We got a good enough feel for what she was up to. She was cozied up to Coach, getting on some people's nerves on her original tribe, just her personality. We saw the other women on her original tribe make an alliance without her, so by the time of the merge, she had this group of Coach and the Horsemen who seemed the only people who wanted to work with her and didn't have options other than to just roll with that, even though they didn't seem to respect her enough to include her, seemingly because she was a woman, which I hated. In the end, we saw her have maybe a better experience than last time. She made some more friends, though she may have a difficult personality to deal with in a game situation, which rubs people the wrong way. In this round, I'm not mad at her telling Coach to be quiet and let her cook, as she was the one who had more of a chance to win the game. This was her long-awaited second chance. She deserved the chance to try to play, and I don't think the plan to turn on Rizzo was terrible. She didn't have all the information, but he did have a known idol. I do question her choice not to play the shot in the dark, because it would have given them double chances to stay, which would have been an epic move if it played out. I'm happy she came back, but am fine with this placement. And Coach, my preseason winner pick, I was expecting Coach 4.0 to be some next level version of himself that had grown forward since his last appearance, but it seems like Coach 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 have imploded in on himself. We saw Coach 1.0 in his free spirit, the return of the quotes, the haikus, the overall silliness and ridiculousness. Coach 2.0 in him talking game more seriously. Then he was told by Tyson, this time by Chrissy, basically, don't wear your feathers in your hair at Tribal, don't tell your stories, people mock you, do your Tai Chi in private. And Coach 3.0, where he was still playing cutthroat, running his alliance, being holier than thou and a hypocrite. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with just accepting that all versions of yourself are what make you you and living your truth. So I salute Coach, and am happy he didn't lead a steamroll of the good people, cut cloth to the end. So that ends this episode, and at this point, the original Silas seem to be running things. It's no coincidence that 6 people from the same starting tribe are in the top 11, and while they waver, they end up voting together. This shenanigan that Devins pulled with the idol trick, who was that to fool? Like, him saving it for next time is surely, in part, to trick at least some of the original Silas, like Suri and Ozzy. Feels like a signal that he doesn't trust them. If they have the numbers, there is no need to pull off this stunt. I think Suri's Wizard of Oz are fine. They still know where all the advantages are, real and fake. I'm sure Suri can even find out that Devin's idol is fake in like 30 seconds of grilling. We could continue to see them ride with the old Silas until Final 7, but I think the time is coming to scoop up Tiffany, Steph, Joe, whoever, and ride that to a better Final 6 than faced off against a solid group of 3 like Christian, Devins, and Emily. But I'm still Team Sir Wizard of Oz, and I'm still on Tiffany watch. You can't tell me anything. Well, I guess you can. Let me know in the comments what you think of this episode and Coach and Chrissy's eliminations. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next week with more Survivor. Until then, a haiku. Coach and Chrissy gone. Now they forever will be cut from the same cloth. Until next time, you know where to find me. Bye.